Today on One, your daily dose of local affairs and social media commentary.
Today on One, Yanmur teacher accused of being into young boys. Parents urged to prioritize investing in their children's education. The vaccine will not cure COVID-19, says Shangula. Namibia and Iceland drop on global corruption ranking. And young warriors ready for AFCON battle.
A Chanmore secondary school teacher has been accused of allegedly raping a boy learner. Learners at the school held a peaceful demonstration seeking justice for the victim. According to the learners, the teacher has been accused of rape in the past, questioning how the school managed to keep him on as a teacher for this long.
He was not wearing a short skirt, he was not wearing a crop top. So, rape apologists who say it depends on what people wear, they are lying. We want peace.
They're supposed to be protecting us, they're supposed to be assisting us in this, but the teachers are not here. Where are the teachers? They're supposed to, our parents send us to school to come protect us, yet they are not protecting us. But where are they? They lock themselves in the staff room. Where are they? And this is not the first time. We want justice.
Teachers are always there to teach us. Imagine if our teachers are doing such things. What example are they showing to us, the learners? Where are we going? Who are we going to stand up to look up to? If our people that we have to look up to, they are doing such things.
This is not the first time. Every year, same story. What? We are tired. Enough is enough, man.
They expect us to go in their teacher's class again and just feel safe. While we know what he did to other kids, so what will he do to us next?
We're supposed to feel home when we come to school, but now they don't even say because of teachers. They are saying our butts are growing and all that.
Teachers say our skirts are too short. What about the boy that is raped? Was his trouser too tight? We want peace. We want justice.
They don't want to listen to me, but they want to talk about my short skirt. They want to talk about our school uniform, but they don't want to talk about the teachers. They want to silence us, and this has not been the first time. The fact that they are quiet about this.
Yes.
It shows that it says a lot.
They want to say
they're telling us they can't get involved in this, which is very wrong.
The learners at the school demanded the teachers to provide answers, but they allegedly locked themselves in the staff room. However, the principal emerged from the staff room and said that he does not have the authority to respond to the media's questions.
I assure you that the situation is being handled at the highest authority. All the stakeholders are informed and we are in contact. So for further information, I can direct you to the regional director. But the situation is in control.
Has the teacher been suspended, or what action has been taken against him?
As I can say, this is beyond the school. So everything is being handled at the highest authority. Yeah.
What about the fact that they're saying it's not the first time? Are you aware about that?
Yes. There is no comment, but everything is being handled at the highest authority.
Is it the same teacher that was accused 7 years ago?
Sir, no comment.
How are you planning on protecting the students going forward?
It's my responsibility. Further, no comments, but everything is in place. And the learners are aware that I will always protect them.
Fear was still present on the faces of the learners as they walked back to their classrooms. They fear that this incident will not be the last.
We can't wait to get together again, to welcome new friends, meet up with old ones, and play until the sun comes up. We can't wait to fill our stadiums again. In fact, we can't wait to get the whole gang together. But until then, let's stay safe.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
The Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture, in a response to the SWAPO Party Youth League statement on schools still demanding parents to buy stationeries despite the government's education grants, clarified that schools are not allowed to force parents to buy stationery. However, parents are expected to contribute the most basic learning necessities to complement the government's efforts.
We are currently in an economic crisis, and in as much as the government may have given to schools, I think that the parents that are able to contribute or to buy stationery for their children can, and maybe the teachers should make like a small survey on, or just to find out which parents are struggling, with buying stationeries, and who are those that are able to afford. Or maybe arrange a meeting just to find out, to get deeper into the parents' lives, to find out what their challenges are.
Thoughts are maybe the ministries should at least make a 500 per child or more than that. Otherwise, we parents, we still have to top up. And I mean, not every parent will be able to afford that top up. That's why the education was made for free. And then otherwise we don't feel like the education is for free. If I'm to spend the 2,000 on stationaries, it's still like, it's not for free. We are still spending. I mean, the government should at least top up. The government should still do something. The 200 is really less.
Executive Director for the Education Ministry, Sanet Steenkamp, revealed that the government since 2013 has spent 200 Namibia dollars for each learner per primary school and 300 Namibia dollars for each learner per secondary school, adding that there are plans to increase these amounts once the country's economy improves. She further notes that the ministry is busy holding schools accountable for the spending of the education grants.
These amounts are dispersed to the schools. So for all of those 804,079 learners, if you spend between $200 and $300 on them, that is the amount of money, more than 265 million that goes towards schools. We have a situation where there are parents who insist on a particular school. That particular school has got a standard to maintain. The culture of care, the culture of extramural activities, any activities that would require additional resources, that's where we want parents' input. And then parents should provide the most basic. Schools have no right. We're asking flip files. If the child provided a flip file the year before, what prevents us from using it this year again? So we want schools to be much more mindful and not to discriminate against any child. The context of free education, we must remember in public schools, government already pays the salaries for all the teachers. Government already invests in all the utilities, water, electricity bills, the infrastructure. Government also invests in the one of the biggest cost drivers, which is hostels, boarding facilities for children, and then of course the national school feeding. In addition to that, we as a government, that is part of the expenses in public. When you go to the private sector, parents in the private schools pay for the salaries of a teacher, they pay for the electricity, parents pay for extramural activities and anything extra that they want.
Steenkamp adds that a statement to clarify the matter to parents will soon be released, requesting parents to also prioritize investing in their children's education.
As a country, Namibia already spent at least 23% of its national budget goes to basic education. I think we should really applaud that priority that has been set by government. Secondly, 83% of the budget that we receive, more than 13.8 billion, goes towards salaries. We've got 40,000 staff members, including at least 30,000 teachers. So you can imagine that it's a huge load on government's shoulders. We are also alerting parents not to be feeling pressurized and victimized in their rights, but also calling on them at the same time to complement the efforts of government.
Win free airtime with #LearnOn1. Share your comments on the lessons. WhatsApp your feedback, name and town to 081 200 6659. #LearnOn1. Invite learning in.
Minister of Health and Social Services, Kalumbi Shangula, has dispelled the belief that the much-awaited vaccine will cure members of the public from the COVID-19 virus. As countries scramble to get their populations vaccinated, Namibia is no exception, with the COVAX facility promising that they will deliver the first batch of the AstraZeneca vaccine later this month. The health minister said the public should not be misled into believing that it will cure those infected with the virus.
The vaccine is not a medicine, which you will say, if you get a medicine against COVID-19, then it will cure you, and then you no longer have the disease. You are cured. The vaccine does not work like that. If you get vaccinated today and you were already infected, you can still pass on the virus to another person, because the vaccine does not kill. When it gets into your body, it's not going to kill the virus which is there. What it does is going to stimulate the immune response for the body to be able to fight future infection, not the current infection. So that is the difference. So even if you are vaccinated today and you were already infected with COVID-19, you will still be in a position to pass on the virus to the next person.
Attorney General Festus Mbandeka also spoke at the 24th COVID-19 public briefing and sent out a stern warning to those that are responsible for spreading false information on COVID-19 and government efforts in combating the pandemic.
Certain individuals have gone out to circulate or publicize misleading information about COVID, and we know that those are very, very serious offenses, and we want to encourage people to desist from doing so, because that's against the law. It's also against the whole purpose of trying to fight and combat this pandemic.
Namibia recorded 147 COVID-19 confirmed cases and 5 deaths on the 4th of February 2021, bringing the total number of cases to 34,519.
We can't wait to get together again, to welcome new friends, meet up with old ones, and play until the sun comes up. We can't wait to fill our stadiums again. In fact, we can't wait to get the whole gang together. But until then,
let's stay safe.
Namibia has dropped one place from 56 in 2019 to 57 on the 2020 Transparency International Corruption Perception Index, while Iceland's ranking also dropped significantly from 11 points in 2019 to being ranked the 17th least corrupt nation globally in 2020. The latest statistics from the International Corruption Watchdog ranks Namibia as the 57th least corrupt nation globally out of 180 countries. Iceland, on the other hand, has also dropped 6 places on the 2020 list, making it the 17th least corrupt nation globally. Graham Hopwood, the executive director of the Institute for Public Policy Research, states this is a significant drop for the Nordic nation, which demonstrates the widespread apathy among the Icelandic government to deal with the fish rot scandal.
Iceland, in contrast, has gone from 11th cleanest country in the world to 17th, which in that sort of top area of the index is quite a significant drop. And I think obviously that is due to fish rot primarily, and I think there's a feeling in Namibia, but also in Iceland, that Iceland has not taken this seriously. They have not launched a serious investigation as far as we're aware. They haven't arrested anybody, and I hear they've really hardly questioned anybody in the authorities there in terms of their role in the fish rot scandal. The company Samhei and and the principles of that company. So, you know, it's good in a way that Iceland has dropped more than Namibia, because I think it shows, you know, you can't get away with pretending to be a clean country. You've got to act against corruption. Namibia has at least, despite the terrible scandal that is fish rot, has at least, in terms of the ACC and the Prosecutor General, started the process of bringing these people to trial in a relatively professional way. And in contrast, this country that's supposed to be squeaky clean, northern hemisphere European country has really, as far as we can see, done very little to tackle this issue.
In a previous interview filmed with the investigative journalist who exposed the infamous fish rot scandal, the Icelandic investigative journalist gave a comparative analysis between Namibia and Iceland's anti-corruption laws.
Under Namibian law, the people who are in prison or in jail now in Namibia, what they are accused of, the bribe, at least the bribery part of it, and the corruption charges, they allowed to up to 25 years in prison, if I'm correct. If you accept bribery in Iceland, being, for example, a government official, you could end up with 6 years prison sentence. Whereas if you are the one that is paying the bribe, and often gaining, you know, much from the particular bribe, you can only get a 5-year sentence, which of course shows us that somehow in the mind of Icelandic politicians it is a lesser crime to pay bribes than to receive them. So and it's of course ironic in the sense that high-level Icelandic politicians, when the fish rot files came out in the open, came in defense for the Icelandic company by describing Namibia as some kind of a lawless third world country where people paid bribes as a way of making business. But if you look at, for example, the anti-corruption law that has been established in Namibia, it's I would say light years ahead of the legislation we have in Iceland. So in that sense it's hard to tell which is the first world country and which is the third world country.
Today on One contacted the Anti-Corruption Commission for a comment on Namibia dropping one place on the Global Corruption Perception Index, but efforts to get a comment from the national anti-graft body proved futile.
The Young Warriors head coach has finally selected his final 29-man squad to represent Namibia at the 16th edition of the Africa Cup of Nations competition, which is slated to take place from the 14th of February to the 4th of March 2021 in Mauritania. At a press briefing held in the capital where coach James Brits announced his final 29-man squad to travel and participate at the Under-20 AFCON competition in Mauritania, Brits indicated that the team is mentally ready for the competition despite being one of the 7 debutants at the competition.
We know that football is not just about being talented. It's about embracing the environment. It's about being mentally strong. It's about fighting for your country. So it's not just about the talent. So we believe our boys are ready to compete, mentally and physically as well. We are trying to work with them, not just on the field, but also off the field, trying to talk to them, to motivate them. So mentally, we are ready to go as well as physically. As a coach and as a player, I'm speaking to our whole group, we want to make history again. We know it will be tough, but we have our goals as a group. As a group, I mean, in terms of the technical team as well as the players. We want to go as far as possible. And as far as possible means if we can do well and then go to the World Cup as well, why not? The sky is the limit for us. There's nothing for us to fight and try to go to the World Cup. We don't want to waste money. We don't want to waste our resources. We don't want to waste our time. We want to compete and see how far we can go and try to make the nation proud. So if the furthest is the World Cup, why not?
Captain of the Young Warriors, Steven Damasep, says that the team is focused and has welcomed the new players that were recently called up to the team, stating that it gives more strength to the squad.
It's great. The team is doing well. We keep motivating each other each and every day, and I can tell from the game we had, or the 2 games we had from our Brave Warriors, our senior team, we were inspired, we were motivated by that, and well, if we can compete against them, why not against our own age? So I can say we are ready for the competition, physically and mentally, as our coach said, so yeah.
The Young Warriors are seeded in Group B with Tunisia, Central African Republic and Burkina Faso, and will be traveling to Mauritania on the 6th of February, where they will have 2 friendlies to act as adaptation going into the tournament. The final 29-man squad is as follows.
In other leading stories, the Marine Stewardship Council, an environmental not-for-profit organization, says the world is missing out on enough protein to meet the yearly needs of 72 million people because not all fisheries have been sustainably managed. Seafood is a key source of nutrients and protein and plays a vital role in the diets of many. Over 3.3 billion people around the world get at least 20% of their daily animal protein intake from fish. Latest estimates suggest that if global fisheries had been better managed, 16 million tons more seafood could have been harvested every year, helping to feed a rapidly growing population. More than a third of fish stocks around the world are overfished, yet sustainable fisheries are more productive and resilient to change, according to the UN Food and Agriculture Organization. The World Bank has estimated that the amount of fishing in African waters would need to be reduced by more than 50% in order to reach an equilibrium that protects both fish stocks and profits. The Marine Stewardship Council works with fisheries around the world to combat overfishing, including the South African and Namibian hake fisheries, which became the first 2 fisheries in Africa to achieve MSC certification in 2004 and 2020 respectively. And Bank Windhoek Lifestyle Branch Manager Mr. Johan Berry handed over 5,000 Namibia dollars to Commerce Medical Center Owers Hills. The funds were handed over as part of the branch's projects on giving back to the community for the year 2020. Speaking at the handover, Berry noted that the bank was committed to uplifting the well-being of the elderly members of the country, especially those with families in other countries during this difficult time. Besides the contribution received from the bank for the upgrading of the frail care facility, Commerce Medical Center is also ensuring that Namibians also have an option to have access to its health facilities through its Commerce Loyalty Fund. The Commerce Loyalty Fund is a short-term medical insurance which for 230 Namibia dollars per month gives a main member and 4 dependents access to 15 GP consultations per year, 150 Namibia dollars acute medication per script and 1,500 Namibia dollars selective blood tests per year in Windhoek, Swakopmund, Tsumeb and Ruacana. To curtail the spread of the pandemic and in line with national guidelines, Commerce Medical Center has also put in place safety and health measures at all its branches throughout the country. All its employees have been equipped with necessary masks, sanitizers and social distancing measures to protect them against the pandemic.
Welcome to Comments Corner, your daily dose of local comments from the hottest social media pages. President Nagagimkop announced at the 24th COVID update this week that current measures will remain in place for another 21 days as they have been effective in suppressing the second COVID wave. John asked about the measures in place to ensure that 60% of the population get the vaccine. Maria said, "Let us continue to pray for the country and our leaders while adhering to the regulations." Sergio said, "We should all decide that we do not want the curfew because people still meet during the day." Haita said school learners should not be vaccinated for COVID-19 unless permission is granted by the parents. Jacob said that he wants to see Namibia coming up with its own vaccine. Unoshari said if 99% of the people recover from the virus, why vaccinate the whole population? Sela said vaccination should start with the head of state, followed by the Minister of Health and fellow cabinet ministers, and a year later the public. Elsop said, "Thank you for doing your best for every person in Namibia." Michelle said that she loves the president for the adjustment in curfew hours. And that is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day only on TDN1.
Win free airtime with One Africa TV. Share your comments on the channel. SMS your feedback, name and town to 555. One Africa TV. It just gets better.
A look at the weather forecast. The Namibia interior, sunny and hot in the south and west. Elsewhere, partly cloudy and hot to very hot, with a few to isolated thunder showers in the central north, Omaheke and northeastern regions. The coast, partly cloudy and cool to warm with fog patches, and the wind moderate northwesterly to southwesterly. Now we look at minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.